Where a disputed overcharge has been resolved through the issue of a supplier credit note, we can process this within the application by going to Purchases, Credits and Refunds, New Credit Note, and then selecting the invoice to which that credit relates. The system displays the details of the original invoice, including the supplier, the internal application invoice number, the item name or description, the net value of the invoice, the VAT, and the quantities. If this is simply a price allowance for an overcharging, it is fairly straightforward to enter the details from the supplier credit note here, and there will be no stock impact. But where a part of the shipment, for example, half of these items have been returned to the supplier for credit, we reduce these values and quantities to reflect what is being returned. Here we are returning 500 items. If none were being returned, we would enter 0 here, even though we may have received a credit note for 500. We save at that point, and we can see that that credit note appears on our Purchase Credit Notes listing screen. If we look at the activity report via the supplier account, we can see the details from the credit note we have just raised. And if we look at the activity report via the stock item to which the credit note relates, we can see both the original invoice of 1,000 and the 500 being returned out of our stock. You will see that inputs to stock are created by a goods received note and not by a purchase invoice. But, unlike purchase invoices, the credit note does have a direct impact on the stock level. And finally, where the supplier invoice has already been paid, the supplier may issue not just a credit note, but a refund which is dealt with in much the same way. So go to Purchases, Credits and Refunds, but this time New Refund rather than Credit Note as before. Then select the invoice to which the credit note relates. Here you will see that in addition to the details we saw on the credit note, we are shown our bank accounts, into which the refund will be paid. Complete the refund details exactly as before and click Save. So, in addition to the credit note that is being produced on the credit note list, we can see the receipt on the Receipts page. And in terms of the supplier account, we can see both the purchase credit and the refund on the account clearly cancelling each other out. And just above we can see the original invoice and the payment that was made.